Right, welcome to we are on week three, module three. Now, this week here is all about your subconscious mind. This is a really good one to make sure you really do have your apps put down, like shut down other tabs on your web browser, like fully engage for the next hour. I promise you, you're going to get more out of it. We can't multitask with things like this. This is like a really big, like, oh my God, I'm back at school learning again. And a lot of the stuff you don't fully need to know in terms of like, how you do science at school and you do like all these math equations and you'll never use them in your life. But it probably the fundamentals like helped you understand how to actually like get the grades, right? This is kind of what this is, so you can fully understand how your brain works, but you probably will never have to repeat it to someone. Kind of like Michelle will understand this as a personal trainer. We had to understand all these muscles in the body, but like when you work with a client, they just want to know how to lose weight. Like they don't care about what the muscles are called, right? So it's kind of like one of those type of sessions. So I'm going to open up my screen and we're going to jump right into it. Um, and I have given lots of examples. So what I'm coming on tonight, guys. Honestly, all of this here is going to be helping you so much. Let me pin myself. Percent. Man, I'm getting good at this. Look how fast that was, guys. That was only like 5 seconds. Okay, I haven't got the chat box up, so if we do have the chat, just let me know. Oh, actually, I've got it up now. Okay, here we get into it. Like I said before, I just want you to really make sure that you've done week one. Week two was more just structural. Like week two was kind of like, let's just set your day up so you're prepared to own every single day. Um, that was kind of just like fundamentals of running a business, really. Week one, really write that vision statement. Like honestly, get that vision statement done before you move on to the actual homework. I did post the actual like homework yesterday, so just scroll back up in the chat. It's pinned in the chat as well. But it does really help to do this in order, so it just really flows through. This week, week three, and in 2 weeks' time, after we have like a little break in the middle, are going to be the two, probably the most full on ones. Like, so yeah, really get your learning on. And yeah, anything, like I remind you, any questions you have, pop them in the group chat. Like I don't mind you like personally messaging me, but I promise you everyone will get more value out of it if we're all chatting to it together because everyone does have similar questions and similar things to go through. But yeah, let's get into the geekiness of this. This is like, wow, this is a lot. So your subconscious brain is like your superpower, and nothing is off limits to us and what we really want to do in life, but we just need to download the right software. So, for example, like everything you are viewing right now, even this screen, is different to every single person. Okay, and I broke this down into like an album business. So if you think about the results, like two people could look at the same results and have completely different as like perspective of it. So one person could see, like let's say 20,000, I just put 20,000 success line QV. One person see that as a failure because they didn't hit their goal of 20,000, right? Whereas another one sees it as so much growth because they would have doubled their business from last month. So it's a number is like exactly the same for two different people, but depending how you see that number and what it means to you, and maybe like where it is in your life, really does depend on like how you view it. And everything that we are viewing, everything we are hearing, everything we are touching is like we will actually sense it and see it and feel it and all the things so different to every single person. And it really does come down to our perspective and our mindset and the meaning that we've attached to it. So what that means is that like I'll break it down in the following slides, but our perspective of something is literally only our perspective because of past experiences, meaning we see something and our mind can see it and it remembers it to be like for example we're on a call right now. If you're new to this, you're going to be like, wow, this could be like your mind right now could be like, I feel like I'm back at high school. I don't even know what the subconscious is. Like, this is like already blowing my mind. You could like have that perspective of it. Or you could also be really, you've done personal development before, and like something like this right now has been like, okay, this is a refresh. Like I've heard of this, but I kind of forgot and I've refreshed it. So you could have two different perspectives of what's going on tonight. And it really comes back to our past experiences. So we have the power to change it all. And I'm going to break this down to really geeky, okay? And I want you to know that, like, when I go through this, it actually will help you to understand why, like, how our brain works, so we can fully, like, know that we're not, like, actually understand, like, okay, if we know how our brain works, we actually can understand how to change it. Okay, so the brain's broken down into two sections. We've got the thalamus, which takes information from your five senses. Um, or your external world. So what you see, what you hear, what you feel, what you touch, what you taste. God, that was like a little going back to school. Okay, so example, in an incoming car. Let's say we're walking and we want to cross the road, but we can hear senses, we can hear a car coming. Or we look, we can see the car coming. Maybe the car's got an exhaust going, maybe we could smell it, right? So our brain already knows that a car is coming because of what we can like what we can see and like that external what is going on external to our body because of our five senses. Then you've got the hypothalamus. Now, this takes information from our internal world, and I've written a thirsty signal, for example. So, me and Tessa have just gone for two big long runs tonight. Our bodies have been like, okay, Emily and Tessa, we have just exerted a lot of energy. I am thirsty. And so, things are going on in our internal world saying, like, sending thirsty signals to our mouth, saying, like, drink some water, right? That is internal, that's our body that's our brain taking information from our internal world. Okay, so thalamus is our five senses or our external world, and then hypothalamus is taking signals from our internal world. Okay, so the brain processes 11 million bits of information per second with the conscious mind. But we can only process about 50 bits of this. If you th think about that, if we took on all 11 million bits, we would like not even function. We wouldn't even know what's going on. So our brain sorts this, okay? So it deletes it. It acts to preserve and protect, to delete information that's deemed not necessary. And I'm going to use a cafe for an example. If you're sitting in a cafe with a friend, you're having a coffee, there might be 50 people in that cafe, there's 100 conversations going, like people talking, you can hear people in the kitchen, you can see people on the counter, you've got the dog outside barking, like there's all these things coming around, but your brain will delete any information not necessary. So it's not going to pick up on all the conversations going on across the room because it can hear it, but it won't like process it because it just deletes it straight away because it's like, no, no, I'm talking to the person in front of me. You've then got the distorts part. So it distorts information. Particular sounds might trigger you more than others. I did a podcast on this example the other day. Actually, yesterday, just yesterday, I recorded it. So, an example of a branch hitting a window from outside. Okay. Who here watched scary movies growing up? I did. Freaks me out forever. I freaking hate scary movies, okay? If I'm at home alone and I'm watching TV and there's like something screeching on the window, I'm going to think someone's breaking into my house. Okay. That is just my perspective because of all the scary movies I grew up with. If you are someone who lives on a farm, or maybe you live somewhere and there's like trees or bushes close to the window, and then maybe it's a windy night, and then you hear some like noises on the window, you might think that, okay, cool, it's just windy and those branches are like tapping on the window, and you don't think twice about it. Whereas there's me over here freaking the fuck out because I think someone's breaking in. And this is what I mean by like perspective. We have these perceptions of things because of past experiences. And this is where like our bodies like kind of just like say for distorting it, it's like, okay, I've heard this before. What am I trying to figure out what's going on? And then we've got generalizers. So this takes information in, simplifies it, and applies it to something similar. And a really good example is we all know how to drive a car. So we basically, any car we hop into, we pretty much know, okay, cool, jump in the car, turn the key on, put it in drive and go. We know we like the accelerators and the brake. So when we say generalizes it, it's like same thing. Like you pick up a pen, you generally know to click the end and then you write it. Like it, or a drink bottle, you pick it up and you sip out of the top. Like it just means like, okay, you don't have to figure out how to work a new every pen from day dot. Like it just remembers how to do it. Okay. So that's kind of like breakdown of the brain into sorting information. Now to show you, just to break it down into filters and just like break it down a little bit more. Um, like I said, these things here are really good to know, but it's not like you have to then go like tell it to other people or like it's just really good for you to understand what's going on, okay? So there's about this page and there's another page next to it. There's about 5 or 6 different ways the information is processed through filters. So the first one we've got language. Okay, so like using slang or some things that we might say might be okay. Like sometimes swearing, people are like, oh yeah, this person swears, all good. Some people take swearing like really offensively. Um, so information comes into our brain and our brain filters it through language. And what sounds normal to you might sound offensive or silly or powerful to someone else. For example, in the business world, sometimes you might hear boss babe. Some people think it's empowering, another might make it like find it patronizing or just kind of like weird to talk about women like that. It's the same, or like I don't know if you see, you've got all the girls in their 20s saying hot girl work walks. I'm going to go for a hot girl walk or a hot girl yoga. Whereas if you say that to someone in their 60s, they're going to be like, what the fuck is a hot girl walk? Like it's the same words, but like we just like pick it up as differently. Memory, your brain checks past experiences. So if you're doing something, if something comes up, it's like, okay, have I done this before? And if it's a yes, it pulls up the memory to play, is it safe or like is this the outcome that we want? So for example, in business, if you launch an offer once and no one bought, or if maybe you did a business presentation and no one signed up as a customer or consultant, your brain might say, don't bother trying again, you'll fail like last time. And it's just replaying survival because it knows it survived that. So like but we know that's not true. We know if like say if we do a presentation, like it doesn't mean that's always going to happen. It doesn't mean it's always going to have failure. It means like for us, we know that we need to go again, but we don't, but our brain, our memories, like it's stored that memory, be like, you know what, like last time I did this, like no one cared. And that's why we say repetition in this business is really powerful. And this is why we say we really have to have a strong mindset because our memory remembers rejection. And in business, you get a lot of failure. It doesn't matter what business, if it's network marketing or not. You get a lot of failure, you get a lot of hurdles, you get a lot of backlash, you get a lot of things thrown at you to grow, right? And so that's where our mindset comes in so good because our memory, our brain remembers every rejection and it just remembers it as like a bad thing. But also, even though it's bad, it wants us to do it again because we've survived that day. Um, okay, so then hopefully you guys are keeping up. So this next part, previous decision, the brain loves a shortcut. What do I always do in this situation? And basically, it's to save energy as efficient as possible. So, an example in business is every time you feel overwhelmed, you might procrastinate by cleaning your office or scrolling on Instagram or pretend like making a reel or buying a new notebook or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like it just kind of goes into this loop because it's easy and familiar. Whereas like really what you need to do is like the hard work of a presentation or doing a Discover Arbonne. Do you know what I mean? Okay. Meta programs. Hopefully you guys are hanging in there. These are the labels and identities we attach to ourselves, which then drive behavior. So, for example, in business, this is like something that's like, say, I'm not good at growing plants, or I'm an introvert, or, and this is an example I've written here, I'm an introvert and I hate selling. Okay, well, that's just what you tell yourself. Anything you tell yourself, you're going to be. And it's changing that narrative. So you can shift this to say, I do well at speaking to someone one-on-one. Or, like I always say an example for me, I used to say I hate plants because I kill them. And I'm like, fuck, I'm only killing them because I keep saying that. So I literally put it on my vision board that I wanted to have nice plants. And now I like love, I'm obsessed with plants and I'm like very good at growing plants. So what are you telling yourself every single day? You could be like, oh, I'm not an Instagram person, or you could be like, I'm not very good at being creative online. Well, you're only not good because you're telling yourself. So change that narrative and these exercises in the homework to help you with this. Values, how you react to situations that come from the values ingrained in your family, your culture, religions, or personal belief. So this is kind of like things that you grew up. So you might have grown up in a value that money is hard to earn, or maybe didn't have much money growing up. So like, you had to work, maybe you watched your dad grow up, and so you grew up and you watched your dad grow up. Oh my God, you grew up and you watched your dad go to work at 6 o'clock and come home at 6 o'clock. So you kind of associated that you had to work long, hard days to make money. And these are all experiences from the past that your body has held on to. So basically, in summary, everything we believe, we choose, we act on today is filtered through all these, the language, the memory, the past decisions, your identity, what your values are, and your experiences. And in other words, we are basically a program of our past until we decide to rewrite it, rewrite it. Okay, let me just have a little drink. Okay. This part here, I feel like people might have heard this before, the reticular activation system, or the RAS. So it's a bundle of nerves at the brainstem of that filter out any unnecessary information to get information through. So for like I'm going to use that restaurant as an example again. You can hear so many conversations and you just don't even care about any of them. But as soon as you hear your name, even if it's like way across the room, you'll hear it. Or another example would be if you've got a baby at home and you'll wake up to the baby. Your husband might sleep through. Your husband might wake up and be like, man, that baby had a really good night, didn't even wake up. I'm like, excuse me, did you hear me wake up 4 or 5 times to the baby? No, because they are like not switched on like us. Like we deem a baby important because we know we have to get out to this baby, right? Whereas you might hear like the noisy train go by, it might be thunder and lightning outside, but you're not waking up to that because you don't hear it important. But you might hear that tiny little cry from like way over the other end of the room of the house, sorry, and you hear it because it's important, right? So that's what I mean by like we pick up what's important. Another example is think of like your RAS, like the algorithm of your brain. And have you ever noticed when you're thinking about buying a new car, like a Mercedes, when you come into Arbonne, everyone's like, oh, there's a Mercedes there. Suddenly you start to see that car everywhere. And I know this with Marie, you're saying at the moment, like you're picking up my last name everywhere. Ever since you've met me, you've like sent photos and like people you've met with this all name. You've probably seen my name around, but now you're just picking up on it because have become aware of it. Okay. And so, like, if you're always saying things like, I'm stuck and I can't grow my business, you're going to pick up on things and being like, you know what? Yeah, I am stuck and my business isn't growing. And everyone I talk to, they're going to like you're going to like attract this like nothingness because like that's what you keep saying. You go like, business is hard, or like, no one wants to do my business, or, people don't want these products. Like, it's because that's what you're putting out there. So you're going to get that. Okay. So this is a really good exercise to be. These exercises are in the homework as well to like start jotting down common information you see in your day, that and you know that what you are seeing isn't Oh my God, I didn't write that very well. Start jotting down common information you see in your day and know that what you are seeing isn't what everyone is. Yeah, I did write that down. I just said it wrong. So you just like, yeah, it's like what you're seeing and what you're thinking is really, it's really powerful because it's coming from you and we can change that. And there's more on the thinking next week. This really ties into the 1 and 2 weeks time. Okay. So once you truly understand how powerful your subconscious mind is, you stop stressing about having the perfect Instagram strategy or what Instagram algorithm is doing or how many views you're getting or how many likes you're doing. Because at the core, it's not about the strategy, it's about what's in our programming. And your subconscious is the part of your mind that you're not fully aware of. And this is where like gets like really interesting because it's like, okay, if we just go back to the last 20 minutes and we talking like basically our brain has picked up every experience from the last, like for me, I'm 35, from the last 35 years, it's stored all these experiences and that's what it knows. And it's remembered them all and it's associated them with like how I feel, what I see, how I smell. Like a good example, have you ever picked up a perfume or you smell something you're like, oh, that reminds me of like 10 years ago when I was at high school, like an impulse, like, oh my God, impulse. Have you ever had that impulse can? Whenever someone sprays that, I'm like, oh my God, I feel like I'm 13 again. Because that's just like what I used to like cover myself in. And I just like brings me back to like when I'm a teenager, right? It's because your body has like stored these all. And so what happens is when we have like we might be working so hard, we might be doing all the reach outs, we might be doing all these calls, we might be doing these Instagram posts, but it doesn't really matter because if in our body senses like fear, like it's associating certain things with like risk and failure, we won't be able to get past. We might be able to say you might have an income jump, but then it might come back down. Or maybe you have a spike in your business, but then it'll come back down. And it's coming back down because, like, if you had a spike, you might have just gone really hard and, like, but haven't been able to hold that level of success because all these past experiences are bringing you back. And it's like, no, no, no. I watched my dad work 12-hour days for like 30 years, whatever. How can I get success so quickly working online when I watched my dad work all that really hard? Like, that's not how it's meant to go. It's meant to be really hard and long and slow to get success. So it's like reprogramming our minds to be like, you know what? Like, no, our dads worked that long because they didn't have the internet and that's what life was back then, or that's just what I saw. But now we've got so many things that are capable of like collapsing these timelines, right? So I've made a really good example here. Is can you imagine if you're in a room and like just imagine your lounge room. Your lounge room's got like maybe TV, it's got a couch, might have pot plants, whatever. And imagine these floorboards in there, okay? So everything above the floorboard, like your TV, your lounge room, everything, that's your conscious mind. That's what you can see. You can see the couch, you can see the TV. But underneath the floorboards, that's your subconscious mind. So underneath the floorboards are where you've stored all your past experiences and your beliefs, and they're quietly running the show. So what we really want to be doing is like going under that floorboard and picking out a memory one at a time and rewiring it, and then you kind of put it back under there. And we do have an exercise coming up. I can't remember what week is it? 6. So it might be week 7. It's number 6 in the booklet, but it's reprogramming. So it'll literally be like you lie down, get in a quiet room, put your headphones in, close your eyes, and I'll walk you through this. And you really are going to pick out these memories and like rewrite them. So for an example, if we saw, say, for example, my dad worked, like your dad might have worked those 12-hour days as well. It's like we want to like go back in time and rewrite that and be like, okay, like I watched my dad work 12 hours, but we don't have to associate. It's like that's okay. That was his life. It doesn't mean that's my life. Like we could look at it from a different lens. And there's things that come up that you don't even know. One thing that came up, it would have been over a year ago. And I remember it made such a difference in my business is that like when I grew up, I was really good with sport and I was really good at rowing. And I would always make the A final in rowing regattas like North Islands, Nationals, even New Zealand rep teams, I did it. And most of the time at like schools in North Islands and Nationals, I'd always be the A final, but I'd always be like third or fourth or fifth. And so it's like I'm always real like this is North Islands and Nationals, like so many people into so many people into the races from all over the country. And I was always in the A final, but I was always like third, fourth, or fifth. So I was never like the best. And so it kind of made me feel, I was like, okay, it feels like I've always been chasing something because I've never been good enough. Whereas really, that's not what it was. Like I am, like that was what I thought as a teenager. Like, ugh, I'm actually really good. But like I've just always been chasing that top because I never quite got there. So I felt like that's been going through my whole life. Um, and this came through like in a subconscious reprogramming. It just came up as this memory. I was like, oh, what's this happening? So we'll go through that with you in a couple of weeks' time once we get through these yeah, these hard out ones, okay? So your subconscious mind communicates through your nervous system, which has two main parts, okay? This is stuff I reckon you would have heard like a flight or fight. Flight or fight, yeah. Okay. So you got your sympathetic nervous system, which is like your accelerator. It's like your go, okay? This is your flight, fight, or freeze. And often we might have heard of these like the tiger from the past. Like it kicks in when your body senses danger and it needs it to survive. So back in the day, our nervous system, like the sympathetic nervous system, kicked in when things were like we're chasing a tiger. Okay, this is going way back in the day, like when mankind was born, right? In today, those tigers look like money stress, bad relationships, anxiety. Okay. It's the same internal system that's going on. Like the tigers are chasing us, but now it's happening every single day because we're in a world where it's so fast paced and it's so high stress. And it's like those tigers are now, they're not tigers, but they're like everyday stuff that we are like should not be like we shouldn't be so stressed over it, but it's just what the world is, right? So it's like taking that time to really actually understand like how can we like eliminate these stresses on our what in our mind. Um, the body doesn't know what's different. It just like understands. We'll learn this next week as well, but it understands what is it like say if you went like that, you didn't know you don't know it's a tiger or you don't know it's like a bad relationship, right? Like your mind doesn't know, it just understands through the chemical signals it gives your body from what it's remembered. And that might be quite hard to understand because we generally just think what we see is like, okay, cool, I see a tiger, I'm fucking scared, let's run. But what your brain and your body takes on, and it's like, okay, if you think it's in tiger, what your body's actually done is it's releasing cortisol. So your body sees cortisol as a stress. It's like, like that's how money, you're like, oh my God, I got this bill to come up. Cortisol is going through your system because it's like that stress hormone. That's what I was saying. If you watch my Instagram stories, if you've seen me on a Monday night training, you'll be like, oh my God, my skin's breaking out because all the running. Okay, it's not breaking out now, it's gotten better. But it like when all this running training started, my skin was like honestly blind pimples here, along here. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like my skin has been so good ever since using all these products and the gut health. I'm like, what is going on? And when I kept talking to people, I kept saying it's like it's the stress of all this running because exercise is a stress on the body. And when it's stressed, it pumps out way too much cortisol. And when there's way too much cortisol, your body's like, it's under so much stress and it's trying to get rid like it usually shows through your skin, through rashes, through eczema, through um, breakouts, things like that, maybe a tired, dull skin. So that's what I mean by like when I was saying all that stuff about my skin. Okay. How are you guys going? I don't know what number we're up to, but I feel like we're over halfway. Okay. Um, okay, so you had the sympathetic nervous system before, which was the accelerator, and now we've got the brake, which is parasympathetic nervous system. Okay, so we can only do one at a time. Okay, the brake is what we want to like aim towards. Okay, this is when you're resting, it's when you're restoring, it's telling your body it's safe, we can relax, there's no tigers, there's all butterflies. And so what happens in this state is your cortisol starts dropping, your breathing slows, your digestion, your fertility, all that thing that's going back on. This is why things like meditation, deep breaths help, massages, even just having like 10 minutes to yourself without screaming kids. Promise you. Okay, something else, like this is like me and my fitness brain coming up, but like when you got little kids, right? When I had little kids, I was going to this, well, they were still little. Okay, let's just say a year or so ago. I was also going to a gym that had very loud music. And there were times where I was like, fuck, I can't go. Like, I cannot go to this gym because I would leave like kids who were screaming at me. They were like, you know what it's like if you got little kids. They were just like the death of me, right? And then I'll be like, I need to go do my workout. But I was going to this gym that was so loud, it would just stress me the fuck out. And it's just like my body's like, what the fuck is going on? Because like your body's just like, it needs to calm down, it needs to be in quietness. It's almost things to like, sometimes like having no headphones, no music is way more better for you. It just needs to like calm that mind. And so it's just trying to figure out like, where can you put the brake on in your life? Where can you go for a walk? Where can you have like these conversations, like maybe if it's relationship issues, like where can you have these conversations around relationships or money that's going to make you feel more safe? And it's like that constant, just like, okay, time to breathe, maybe need a bath, maybe in the morning, like this is why it's so nice to get up and have your own time as well. I'm always going to go on about a morning routine, guys. You guys are going to be like, everyone's going to be doing morning routines. If you're not already doing it, you're going to be doing it because I promise you all of it is linked in with your body. Okay, it gives you to reset. Things like journaling, they're so good to like actually like get thoughts out on paper. And it's just really coming back to like, okay, how can we slow down to make our body feel safe? Okay. Do, 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 do. Okay, so this is the characteristics of the subconscious mind. Okay. It doesn't analyze or question anything. Your conscious mind will. So if you're asked a question, your conscious mind will be like thinking about it. It'll be like, okay, what does Emily ask me and how do I reply? Whereas your subconscious brain doesn't. It's just like, okay, Emily's just given me this information by what I've seen, felt, smelt, all the things. Store it. Doesn't question, okay? It can't tell the difference between what's real and what's imagined. I might have used this example last week where these studies done and there's this guy like playing the piano. I think I used this last week where people were given this music piece to play. They wanted to 2 weeks, people were just going to play it, like physically read it, play it, practice it. The other group gave 2 weeks to visualize it. So they shut their eyes and they visualized themselves playing this. And when they all came out to play it, they both played exactly the same because the mind, it just shows that like it doesn't physically, like obviously if you're physically seeing something, yeah, you know what you're doing, but the mind doesn't know if you're actually looking at it or not because it just like understands what it's like thinking. Hopefully that makes sense. This is why like the meditations and visualizations are really good because your brain needs to like understand, it doesn't know what's real or not. So the more you can think of your life, like for me, I want to be living beachfront. The more I can like hear the seagulls in my vision in like my meditations and like the feel the sand on my feet and all the things, like if you can really start to get your body to feel it in your brain first, it starts to see it as more of a reality. Okay. Um, it can't, yeah, so the subconscious loves routine. It wants every day to look the same. Okay. And I've said this before, like you wake up, you brush your teeth, you have breakfast, you get the kids ready, you drop them off, you go do your 9 to 5, you come home, dinner, go to bed. Rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. It loves it. It loves the same thing because you survived yesterday and the body is made to be as efficient as possible so you can survive another day. If you go back to caveman days, that's all it wanted to do. Didn't want to be like, if you did something different back then, you might get chased by a tiger. Or you might, if you chase try different berries. Those berries might kill you, right? So we're going way back to like this is like survival. And our brains are the same as it was millions of years, probably. I don't even know how old the human is, but it goes back to like primal days, right? So if it resists change, it doesn't want to change, and not because it's lazy, but because it's its job to protect you. And anything new or unfamiliar is seen as a risk, even though it's actually good for you. So this is where like your mental rehearsals, your meditations are really good because that's where you can change it. Okay, I'll go into that. Hold on, where are we in this one? Oh yeah, we're not too far away. I know this is a lot, guys. I told you this was going to be a lot. You're going to like, wow, you're going to sleep well tonight. I always find I sleep well when I learn a lot. Okay, by the age of 30, we are around 95% of who, sorry, we are shaped by oh my God, I can't talk. By the age of 30, around 95% of who we are is shaped by our past programming. Okay. Thoughts, beliefs, behaviors, emotions, experiences. And most people are living on autopilot and they think the same thoughts, they feel the same emotions, they react the same way each day because they know that they've like lived another day and they know like it's predictable. Your body knows it's predictable, it's safe, so it just basically tries to do what it does. It might say you might drive the same way to work, you might have the same conversations, you might so it might have the same conversations with people at work. You might you might go to the same grocery store because you know exactly where to buy those groceries from in the exact same aisle because it's like easy. Whereas if you go like, honestly, if I go to Pack and Save, I don't know where the hell I'm going. Like it's like a challenge, right? It's like a real day-to-day example. But it will resist anything that you're not programmed for. So if something feels hard or scary or outside of your comfort zone, your subconscious sees it as a threat, even if it's something amazing like building an album business. Okay. So if I say it again, like if it feels scary or outside of your comfort zone, good. Go for it. Like if it's out, if it honestly, if it gives you like even like a bit of anxiety to do it, if it's like, oh my God, this is so outside my comfort zone, like that is what's going to grow you. You see it all the time. You see it all the time on Instagram. Like people say like, oh, you're like, no one has done anything successful if they haven't gone through so many challenges. And this is what I mean. Like you need to be really having those challenges. Yes, Tessa, running that 50 Ks, geez, you were like, I'm gonna like have some, oh my God, hold on, wait, where am I going? 50 Ks is incredible. You're going to do so well with that. So an example in real life is you want to earn more money and live in abundance, but you have never experienced that before. I think I said this like 10 minutes ago, like, so you might have this peak of success, but you'll probably drop back down until you can actually like tell your body it's fine, it's safe, like more money's good. And it's like understand your body needs to understand like, okay, I'm actually like worthy of this money. I'm like worthy of this success. And it's like reprogramming your body to feel safe with that, to be able to like actually get that next level of income. So yeah, it triggers resistance, doubt, fear, not because it's bad, but because it's unfamiliar. And that's why the mindset work, repetition, I should have put that in bold. Repetition, repetition, repetition. Um, that's basically the way you're going to rewire your thoughts and your feelings and like success. Okay, that's why affirmations are really good. Okay, we're almost there, guys. You guys are doing so good. Accessing the power of the subconscious mind. Okay, so the key to this is unlearning old habits and learning new ones through repetition. Um, so it's really thinking about like this is why you can start anything new at any ages. If you do it enough, you will change and essentially change your life. You think about anything like that's why we say we're never too old to start anything because it's up to you. Like you like people get so scared. People get scared of like I started my business, I was a month shy of 31 and I honestly thought I was like, nah, personal training just has to be for me. That's it. I've done it for 10 years. Like that's my path life because that's all I knew. I was like, how can I change? Like, I'm like, honestly, I actually thought I was like really old back then. I was like, oh my God, what the hell? I was 30. Um, I was like, no, it's like that's because I was uneducated, guys. Like, I don't know any other place. Like Arbonne network marketing is so powerful. We literally learn from millionaires for free. No other industry. I don't know any other industry where you can get that type of access to like incredible leaders. Most times you have to pay mentors for that stuff. So we are in an environment where we can really push our boundaries. We can relearn old habits, like get amongst. If you guys aren't on every training, like I don't know what you're doing because it's like and it's not just like being on camera off. It's like actually getting in and being like, no, this is my time to learn, to grow, to hear from people who have gone before me because it's like it's growing you and it's growing your life and it's changing your trajectory of your life. Okay. So, the subconscious mind, it contains an intelligence with all of the answers and guidance you need once you know how to tune into it. Okay, this is really good. This is really good. An example I put here. Have you ever had like you've woken up in the middle of the night and you have this random idea, you're like, oh my God, I need to write that down. I have. Or maybe you're out for a run, like me and Tessa at the moment, we're out running, be like, boom. I literally write so many notes on these runs because it's just like, it's like you're like just gone, like you kind of just in this like go, go, left, right, left, right, left, right, right. And so it's like you're in this state where you're like, man, you like forget your body's moving, but you like got all these ideas coming through. Or maybe you're in the shower, or don't know, like sometimes you just kind of like you're out with a friend, you're like, oh my God, I just remembered that. I need to write that down. Like that is getting into your intuition. That's like your body. That is like actually your that's your subconscious mind. Okay. So if you ever have those random downloads, your subconscious is telling you something that just gave me goosebumps. It actually just gave me goosebumps. It is telling you what to do. Okay. And there was this thing like I've just put on my Instagram is like that I'm launching, like I'm going nowhere with my album business, by the way, but like I'm launching mentoring for people outside of the network marketing industry because it keeps coming through. It's like I've just always had this feeling for the last 2 years. And like even last year, I half launched, actually, no, I even launched a business. It's called She's a Woman. And I've even got the Instagram page, but I like cut it halfway because I was like, I was scared. Like I've actually put it down to it. I was really scared to do something different. I was like, okay, how am I going to navigate this? And I just kind of like almost retreated. But I actually like did like a full on like 3 months launch to this. And it keeps coming back. And I was like, oh, this is my subconscious talking. This is like my intuition talking, and I need to do it. And it's like, where in your life are you having these downloads? It doesn't have to be like that example, but it could be like a fitness thing, or it could be, I don't know, like reconnecting with a friend, or this maybe you have a running club or a dog walking group idea. I don't know. These are so random. You never know what they are, but you're like, I'm gonna do it. And it's like your body, it's just like really starting to be in tune with your body. And do you know where it comes from? It comes from you like having that downtime in the morning to work on yourself. And you can really start to be in tune with your body and actually understand when your body's talking to you. Okay. Because most of the time we're just going, 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 going. We don't even get a chance to listen to it. Okay. But once we give ourselves the time to like quiet the noise, like the first thing in the morning, these downloads can come through. Okay. Promise you guys, you're going to absolutely be obsessed with your morning routine by the time you finish hanging out with me. If you're not already doing it. Okay, we're almost there, guys. Okay, so let's go back to the science at school. We know that matter expands with heat. Well, I hope you do. Think about your hands in summertime. If you're like it's hot, your rings might get tight. Like that's expanding. Okay, things get hot. One atom, two hydrogen. Hold on, wait. One atom of oxygen. So one oxygen atom and two atoms of hydrogen makes water, which is H2O. Okay, we kind of all know that H2O, water. Everything is cause and effect. So think about heat expands. It's hot. That's the cause. It affects. It makes things expand. Um, this is going to get, we're going to go very in detail of this next week. I didn't want to put that into one training because it's like insane what's going to happen. Sorry, 2 weeks time, it's going to like, you're going to be like, whoa. You're going to be like, hold on, Emily. I just can't even deal with what you're about to tell me. but I really can't wait to teach that in 2 weeks' time. Okay, so the cause are your thoughts and feelings, and the effect is your reality. So I just want to share that. Cause, your thoughts and feeling, your thoughts. I am so successful, or I am attracting new customers this week, or I am creating, I'm going to write my vision statement this week. Effect is your reality. So our thoughts and our feelings actually create our reality. Have you ever gone for a goal and you're so determined you're going to hit it that you'll do it? You actually will make it'll actually come true, okay? You think good, good follows. You think evil, evil follows. You are what you think all day. You've probably also heard that saying from someone's going to quote it for me. Whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. Someone put it in the chat. Anyway, whether you think you can, you can't. Is it Napoleon Hill? I don't know. But like, it's so true. Okay. All of your experiences, your events, your conditions, the actions are produced by the subconscious mind in reaction to your thoughts. Okay, so I want you guys to really just what I'm trying to say here is your belief is everything. You really need to believe that you 100% can do this business or whatever it is you want to be doing. You need you to grow your belief. And if your belief isn't there right now, you need to borrow your belief off someone like me or Pearl or whoever your upline is or whoever you want need it from. Your belief is literally going to be making or breaking your business, okay? And knowing this is literally a game changer. So imagine your mind is like rich soil and you're planting a garden, okay? If you have like really rich soil, you're going to probably plant like the plant, whatever grows in there is going to grow like and flourish, right? But if you have like shitty, unwatered soil, maybe it's clay, you're probably not going to grow like a beautiful like veggie patch from it because it's not going to go like you can't even dig it. Do you know what I mean? So think about like you can't have desirable outcomes from limiting beliefs. So think about desirable outcomes of your garden. You can't grow them from shitty soil, from limiting beliefs. Okay. So you must control your thoughts at the conscious level. Like our conscious level is like, okay, I know I've got Emily in front of me right now. And Emily is breathing belief into me. Like you consciously know that. So when you say like I am going to be a national vice president or I am going to be making $10,000 this month or I am going to be whatever, like you know you're saying that, right? And then it ends up going and being stored as memories in your subconscious mind. Okay. If you have a thought you want to speak about your dreams and your goals, that is huge, but you're worried about making people feel small or not good enough, or or like you say you have these huge goals, like I want to live beachfront. It's taking me forever to say that because I don't want to like make people feel small. But I'm like, no, people get inspired. Like when I actually, if you think about it, when you watch people on Instagram, I get so inspired by people, by how people live their life. And I'm like, I want that. So having big goals and putting your goals out there is actually going to actually help more women create more families, more people like have bigger beliefs. It's going to actually enable them to dream bigger, and you're going to be the person to influence them. So it's like like that's a limited belief right there that needs to be rewired. Um, the conscious mind is like a gardener, and the subconscious mind is the soil. So the gardener plants the seed, the thoughts, beliefs, intentions, and the soil doesn't question them. So whatever like the garden is put in, it's just going to grow. If you plant sunflower seeds, it's going to plant. Oh my God, it's going to grow sunflowers, okay? It basically nurtures and grows whatever's planted. So you have to put positive thoughts you have to consciously think of positive thoughts, and they're going to end up being planted into your subconscious mind where it actually grows. Hopefully this is making sense. You guys like, wow, so much is going on. But this does it. Like it does make sense. It's like basically saying like you have to really think positive. Okay. Everything like you can't afford to not be you can't afford to be thinking negative. Okay. So if you keep thinking, I'm not good at building my online business, or you're giving that instruction to your subconscious mind, like telling everyone you present a DA to and saying, it's like saying like, yeah, you do a Discover Arbonne, but then in the end you say, actually don't join, it's not for you. Like, no, you're not going to say that. But because like you've told that, if you keep thinking that in your head, that's actually what's coming out. Like you're like people can pick up on the energy. Um, and I'm going to be doing more on the energy in a couple of weeks because you it's actually really tied together. But the subconscious doesn't question it. It just gets to work executing the task. And at that task right now is if you think that you're not good enough or you don't like you don't think it's going to work, like your subconscious mind is literally getting to work. It's saying like, you know what? I'm going to make sure this doesn't work. So instead of finding more creative ways to grow or doing more reels or doing more reach outs, like you actually have to be like working on your mindset and what you're saying day in, day out. Okay. Um, I think I said that, but when you constantly think limiting negative thoughts, you'll start to experience lack in your life, lack of time, lack of money. I pretty much just did that in a different way. Um, so sometimes it might feel like it's like the circumstances causing this, but in the truth, your thoughts helped create those circumstances. So another good example of this is like, have you ever like it's also a reflection on us sometimes. Actually, this is probably more for next. No, I'll use that example for the next couple of weeks because that might might like confuse you guys. But I promise you, there's a good example coming up in 2 weeks' time. Um, oh, next one. Okay. So communicating with the subconscious mind. This is where this happens. Okay. So this is why week one was so important because when we have clear intentions and know it we need sorry, clear intentions and know it's done before it's happened. So knowing it done it's before it happened is that's the vision statement. It's like, okay, what's my clear intentions? This is what I want to happen. And our it's like it starts to like imagine it. You can see it in your meditations. You'll start seeing it and picking it up out of the day. Like maybe you got a dream house in mind, like, and you've never really thought about like where you want to be living, whether it be a farm, beach house. You want to start like seeing more beautiful houses. You'll be like, you know what? I really want like an outdoor area like that. And then you might drive to a different area and be like, oh my God, that house looks nice. And you've never bothered about looking at houses before, but now because you know what you want your life to look like, you're like picking out all these houses. So it's like having that it's fully, hey, you guys getting like the drift here? Like really being intentional about what you want and like what you're thinking and what you're saying and believing. So, um, yeah, results don't come from working harder or relying solely on willpower. Power. And that's what I was saying. Like, you don't have to post more, always have to post more. Like, obviously, that stuff helps. Like, being on Instagram and showing up, like, it definitely helps because people love, like, it's definitely that's working your business, right? But it's what it's kind of saying. What I'm trying to say here is like, it doesn't always mean you have to post more. You don't have to post like 5 reels a day or, um, you don't have to, yeah, do more reach outs or things like that. Like, obviously, you do that stuff to grow your business. I'm definitely not saying don't do that. But if we're trying to reach a goal, maybe you've been trying to do it for a while, you're not quite getting there. Maybe it's really having to reflect on you and what are your thoughts? Like, what's actually going on internally and really working on yourself. So that's why I'm saying like use imagery, like the Pinterest board, like I was saying that voice note the other day, your vision boards, go for a test drive in a car. You can literally walk into anywhere. They will like all they do is they just want your current keys. They'll just get your license number and then you can just literally take a car for a drive. Go get the fanciest one. Like I was saying, walking down expensive suburbs or like driving past in your beach home, like feeling into it is the key. Okay, that vision statement, feeling into it with those senses, like dressing like it now. How can you dress like it now? How can you act like it now? How can you everything? How can you change so much about yourself right now to make your body feel like it's already here? So these meditations will help. And I said link this sleep meditation, but I've actually already linked it into the group chat. So if you haven't done it, it's free. You can just download it. There's like millions. There's literally millions of um, meditations on there. Okay, guys. Whew, you can breathe. So I did link the PDFs. I'm just doing it 1 week at a time for the workbook to go through. So part of the homework is actually going through and like taking your, like getting some notes out of um on your phone and like start thinking about things that are coming up and you're like, oh, why did I think that? Okay. So observe your thoughts and write them down. So accumulate them throughout the day and just like, so for example, I went to post on my stories and I thought I'm being salesy. Note that down. Have you put like your green gut glow up before and you'd be like, oh my God, it's another green gut glow. Write that down. Okay. That's like that is a thought that's coming up. Believe me, I've had to debunk that. I've actually had to work through being like, fuck, here I go with my green gut glow again. But it's not like that. I'd be like, actually, you know what? I've rewired it to think like no one sees my stories every day. Or like sorry, that's actually a really bad example because then I think no one sees my stories every day. It's like, actually, no, it's rewiring it to think, actually, people get busy and they might not have seen that. So you know what? I'm going to post it up again just in case they haven't seen that one. And it's thinking about like, oh, actually, I've got X amount of new followers. They have no idea what this greens drink is. Here I go, post it again. Okay, it's thinking about that. And it's like, then it's like debunking them. So what I just said, like it's switching it instead of being like, oh, here I go, post my greens again. You actually be like, actually, I've got new followers. They have no idea. Let me show them. Welcome them onto my page. Okay. And that could be for anything. It could be, okay. So there's something about your goals okay, is there something about your goals that you have previously considered bad, evil, or a threat? Okay, so also consider what you may have been told and what was presented to you growing up. For example, eating healthy is expensive. Or like we watched my dad, like your dad might have worked 12-hour days. So like to make money, you need to to make money, you have to work long, hard hours. Okay. These are things that are going to be prompted through the workbook. Okay. So example, you might identify a subconscious fear like if I become wealthy, people will judge me or think I've changed. Now challenge that threat. Is that really true? What is the opposite of true? Will I be okay if a few people don't understand? This was something I definitely worked through. There was a fear that came up where if I made lots of money, then people would be too scared to talk to me. Like, I don't know, it's in my head. But I don't know where that came from. And I think it's because when I was growing up, I would see people with money, I'd be like, oh my God, they're scary to talk to. And that came from like in my early personal trainer days, I actually had some very like wealthy women who were like early 30s and they were like really intimidating. And I actually had to like work through that because when I got to know them, they're literally just like you and me. They're just literally the same. And so now I don't think that, but this could be something for you. Like you're like, oh my God, making you money, like making more money, you're not going to be relatable to your school friends. Well, at the end of the day, like we do, everyone's changing, everyone's on these paths. Like everyone's outgrowing people all the time. So it's like really understanding, like actually, no, those pe you could rebunk that to be like, you know, my school friends are so proud of me for like the business and me going after my goals. It's like switching it up, okay? Um, oh, I didn't finish the end of it. Hold on, wait. Yeah, so then you rewrite that narrative entirely. As I create a wealthy lifestyle, I attract supportive, like-minded people who celebrate my growth and are inspired to elevate their lives on their own too. So like that's saying like when you create more income or a wealthy lifestyle, like, you're attracting more people like that into your life. So this way, when you rewrite it, this is in the workbook, that your subconscious no longer sees wealth as as a threat. So it means like you're more capable of when you reach a new income level, you're more capable of holding it instead of doing like up and down, up and down. Okay, so now we need to identify the perceived loss. What loss might come from creating a wealthy lifestyle? Okay, so maybe it's a fear of no longer relating to your current friend group. I was just saying this actually, but perhaps you worry that wealth will make you seem too different or too much for the people you love. Okay, this includes family. So if we don't consciously identify the perceived loss, the subconscious will quietly hold on to it and reason to sabotage. Okay, so this is in the workbook and it's going to like really help you like, okay, you're going to be like, okay, what happens when like maybe you're scared your family like just don't understand or they judge you or maybe you're worried about out earning your parents. So it's like actually making another one, say you're worried about out earning your parents, that might come up. Maybe what you can write instead, you could be like, you know what? The more money you make, the more money you can give back to your parents, like maybe when they retire. Or the more money you make, the more holidays you can afford to take your parents onto, and just so like they don't have to have that worry in their about those expenses in their retirement. It's like it's really just it's creating basically what these exercises are doing is any of these worries, if they're coming up, they are literally your blocks. So this is where like this homework is actually like this is why I've given you like a little break for next week because this is actually what's going to change you. It's like what are these blocks? What are scenarios that are actually positive about that? And it's like making scenarios. So you're consciously taking this in, and it's like this planting those seeds. You're taking them in, and you're planting them into your subconscious mind. And your subconscious now is now like, oh, actually, you know what? More money is good because then I can like help my parents in their retirement. You know, seed planted instead of being like, oh, my parents are going to judge me. That seed's now taken out, kind of like those floorboards, okay? You're taking those out, those limiting beliefs, you take them out one by one, and then you're putting back in new ones under the floorboards. Gosh, that is it. You might need to go back and rewatch it, and you're welcome to as well. So that is the end for this one. I know it's been a long one, and I want you guys to really like take the time to go through the workbook. If you haven't finished your vision statement, honestly, I promise you go back to finish that. It's worth it. Like this is the work that actually will grow you in your business. So if you're not doing it, like, and if you're just coming on watching, not really doing the work, it's not really going to be working. Like you actually have to do this work. Next week is like a Q&A. So come on if you need to. It's obviously optional, but like I encourage you to come on and ask these questions and we can even like work through these questions together, okay? So thank you so much. It's past 9 o'clock and thanks so much. I will see you in the group chat and have a good night.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Emily.
Emily.
That's all right.